All right, hello, welcome back to the stream, everybody. Oh goodness. All right, so what are we gonna do today? Well, I think we're going to, I'm going to try some balance changes to how the gun parts are working, and I'll explain sort of what my plan is there in just a second, but yeah, I'll get right into that. But first, I want to remind everyone that all the ways that you could support my work are linked in the description below. So if you want to learn how to build a game in the Godot engine, you could check out my Udemy courses and pick one of those up if you're interested. Also, this game, Gunforged, will be out relatively soon, so that will be available for purchase. So go ahead and wishlist that on Steam, and please buy it when it comes out. That would be much appreciated. Otherwise, you can watch my videos, like this video, subscribe to the channel, all of that good stuff. All right, so with that out of the way, let's get right into it. Hello, Apple. Gunforged is pretty cool, thank you. Hello, Dione, welcome back. I'm waiting for the Discord of Firebelly. Yeah, maybe someday. Maybe someday. Okay, so what do I have going on here? Let me think. Sorry, I'm a little bit lost here. Okay, so the gun parts. So I have all these custom resources for my gun parts. Where are those? Gun. So all these gun parts here. And these custom resources basically define some kind of stats for all the gun parts. So we've got things like bullet speed, bullets per shot, bullet angle, all that kind of good stuff. And the problem that I'm running into is that certain types of gun parts have certain different numbers. So for instance, the receiver is where the base damage comes from, and the magazine is where the fire rate comes from, the bullets per second here, and then the barrel is where the bullet speed comes from. Now the problem is that this creates kind of a situation where some parts are just always very weak. It's like you're never going to get, for instance, a banana magazine that is more powerful than any other magazine in the game. I'm just giving an example. So I am randomizing some of these properties within a certain range when that gun part shows up in the game, but it's still just the nature of how the numbers work and how all of the parts combine together, that there are just some receivers that are just always better than other receivers. There are some barrels that are always better than other barrels, and I'm not opposed to the idea of having some weapon parts that are on average better, but the problem is that it's happening too much, where, you know, certain parts are just never chosen because they're not good upgrades, and so that's creating a situation where, you know, it's like it's not very fun because you end up just picking a lot of the same parts every run. So this is a problem that has been in the game for a while, and it's gotten better. I've done a couple of things to improve that, but I'm going to try sort of a radically different approach here to gun part stats. And what that approach is going to be is I'm just going to make every gun part have the same stats, and then when all the gun parts come together, they will add up all the stats together as part of the single gun. I mean, that's already what's happening, but what I mean by this is that I want to make every single gun part contribute to the damage directly, and every single gun part contribute to the fire rate directly, and every single gun part contribute to the ammo capacity directly. So, you know, I wanted to make it thematic where it's like, oh, the magazine is what, you know, controls your ammo capacity, but not only is that information not readily surfaced to the player, but again, it's creating this problem where some magazines are just terrible. So, but I could still, with this approach, I can still, you know, I could still have, like, for example, if I want a low capacity magazine, I can still do that. But the thing is that magazine will become more attractive if you use it with a higher capacity receiver, for instance. So we're going to experiment with that today We're going to get all that working. We're going to experiment with it, and we're going to see how that feels. And so it's going to be a lot of play testing. I don't think that this feature is going to take that long to build. Honestly, I need to add all the stats to this gun part resource, for instance, and then what? And then I need to change the gun part randomizer to handle that better, or handle those new stats. So that's what we're going to be doing. Had a fun challenge yesterday implementing one of your C# scripts in the puzzle course in GDScript. Nice. How'd that go? Had to figure out the GDScript equivalent to using a hash set and couldn't use nullable types. Oh, yeah. But I'm statically typing variables to improve performance. Gotcha. Hovered grid cell dictionary value vector 2. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I figured it would be a little bit tricky to do that stuff in GDScript. Okay. So where do we start? So let me think. If I go to my gun part resource, I'm committing to my repo after every lecture in the course with the lecture name. Yeah, that's a good idea. I do that when I'm recording the course. Can I do an export category? We'll see. So let's do this now. This is going to be a little bit tough. So what are the things that I need? Gun receiver resource, here it is. So damage, ammo capacity multiplier. So we're gonna get rid of these multipliers, I think. So let's do this. Oh boy. Public float. We're gonna call this damage contribution. I don't know if I like that name. It would be much nicer just to use damage, but that's already being used here. Also, I'm gonna create a new branch for this. Experimental gun part changes. So I'll create a new branch just so that I'm not destroying anything that I've got on that master branch there. So damage contribution, we'll do that. Export public float, and we're gonna set this just to 2 by default. Export public float, bullets per second, contribution, get private set. And we'll do 2. Yeah, well, maybe we'll do 1.5. Okay. And then what's the other thing we need? Ammo capacity. I'm going to change this to just capacity. So public float capacity contribution. We'll do 3. Okay. So what else do we have? Oh, range, right. We need the range contribution. Export public float range contribution. We are going to set this to, what is 150 divided by 3? Well, we can do, let me think. Oh, it's 50. Wow. I'm a little bit slow today, I guess. Okay, so range contribution is 50. I'm just setting these to defaults where if I added 3 of these together, we get like kind of like an average gun. So damage average would be 6, bullets per second would be, 4.5, I think. Yeah, 4.5. Capacity would be 9, and range would be 150. So that's kind of like the median or average gun there. And then let's see, we are going to need the layer. Bullets per second, ammo capacity, barrel. Oh yeah, bullet angle, bullets per shot, and bullet speed. So bullets per shot is an interesting one. Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to do that, but bullet speed contribution is definitely a good one. Export, public, float, bullet speed contribution, get private set, export, public, float, bullet angle contribution, get private set, and we'll set this to 2 as well, or we'll keep that at 0, that's fine. Let's see, bullets per shot. Yeah, we're gonna do this. So export, public, float, bullets per shot contribution. This one is going to be a little bit tricky, but we'll try it. Okay. I know you said you may not end up using it on your course, as I'm just some random guy, but I do have a bachelor's in software engineering, so if best practices are a concern, I think you'll find my code as similar to your C# implementation as I can get it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you want to share, I mean, if you're saying you would like to share the code with me, you can definitely do that if you want to send me an email. But yeah, I don't know, no promises about whether I'll use it or not. But thank you. Okay, so I've got all these stats set up. And yeah, GD script, thank you for answering that question. What is GD script? So I've got all the stats set up here. So now the tricky thing is going to be, there's a couple of considerations to be made here. Let me first see if I can get this working, just generally speaking. So let's build this and we'll see what happens. Okay, this is going to be a little bit hairy here, but that's fine. Oh, here's the stats down here. Very cool. All right, I'm gonna, do I want to move those stats up? No, it's fine. Okay, so here's the stats. Cool. All right, so here's all my stats. And now instead of changing the stats individually, what I'm going to do is I am going to now see if I can get... Oh, I got to change all these things too. Dupe.damage contribution equals damage contribution. Dupe.bullets per second. Contribution equals bullets per second contribution. Dupe.capacity contribution equals capacity contribution. Dupe. I think, does it? Wait a minute. Does duplicating a resource automatically... It might automatically duplicate these properties, actually. I might not need to do this. Okay, I'm going to try something here. Unlock condition description. Do I need to do that stuff? Let me see. I think any exported property gets duplicated with the resource duplication. I'm not sure though. So gun part registry, registry, gun registry. Here we go. So just in here, I'm going to do gd.print get gun part from ID shotgun receiver dot bullet speed contribution. So this get gun part from ID is duplicating it, and I'm going to see if that bullet speed contribution is logged. It should be 50 or 100. We'll see. Do you work on your game after finishing the stream? I do, yeah. Yes, I do, Master Car. Welcome to the stream, by the way. Yeah, I've been working quite a bit on Gunforge. I actually added this new little table here where you can open up the passive screen. So that was something I was working on yesterday. Let's see if this got printed. Yeah, okay, so I don't need to duplicate. I technically don't need to duplicate anything that has an export condition. So I don't need to duplicate that. So anything that is exported doesn't need to be duplicated. Okay, perfect. Perfect. Okay, so that's easier. Any tips on how to learn pixel art? I have a Sprite, but I haven't found many good resources on learning proper techniques, color theory, dithering, anti-aliasing, etc. Yeah, so I have a video on my channel, how to get good at pixel art with no art skill. And that kind of goes into like the 5 most helpful tips that I learned when I was learning pixel art. It's not like a comprehensive, you know, very technical overview, but it's more so like, here are some major tips that if you apply them will basically instantly improve your art. And then I also have some tips in there about how to practice getting better. The main thing is the constraints. So starting with a small canvas size and a small color palette and just trying to get good given those constraints and working on that and then gradually expanding your constraints out. Hello, Momo. Welcome back. I'm doing great. How are you doing? It's very, very cold here. Actually, we're going to be under an extreme cold warning tonight. So, yeah. Hopefully my pipes don't freeze. That would be terrible if that happened. I had a concept I wanted to work up with a friend, but I think it violates Dungeons and Dragons copyright. Well, if it's just a personal project, you don't really need to worry about that. But yeah, if you were going to plan on releasing it, then that would be no good, I bet. Okay, so the gun stats now. So I'm going to change all of this stuff. So this resource here, let's see. Muzzle flash, scene, ammo capacity. So we're going to get rid of, what is base range? Oh, bullet range. Okay. So base range, bullet layer. So we don't need the base range there. We don't need the bullets per second. Bullet speed, bullet angle, bullets per shot. We are not going to use any of those. And we're not going to use any of those. Okay. I'm going to get rid of this bullets per second modifier as well. But anyway, so now we're going to go in here. We're going to say stats.baseRange plus equals resource.range contribution. Stats. Why is this not working? Oh, the range is an int? Okay, I can change that. Do I want to change that? We'll keep it as a float. Yeah, this ends up being a float anyway. I don't know why this base range is an int. We'll just change that to a float. Okay, so we're gonna add the resource range contribution. Base, what is it? Damage. Damage scaled by bullet percent modifier. Oh my goodness. Okay, we'll worry about all that. Damage plus equals resource dot damage contribution. Okay, what else do we got? damage bullets per second. So stats.bullets per second plus equals resource dot bullets per second contribution. Capacity stats.capacity plus equals resource.capacity contribution. This ammo capacity is also an int, so float. Where is this used? Okay, it's only used in here, so this will become, yeah, round to int. Perfect. Okay. What's next? Range contribution, I already did that one. Bullet speed plus equals resource dot speed contribution stats dot angle bullet angle plus equals resource dot bullet angle contribution, and then bullets per shot stats dot bullets per shot plus equals resource dot bullet per shot contribution. Okay, so this bullets per shot is an int, which makes sense, but I need to, let me do this. Public float base bullets per shot. So we're going to change this to base bullets per shot. And then after it's done adding all of those up, we're going to say stats dot bullets per shot is equal to math f dot max of 1 or math f dot round to int stats dot base bullets per shot. So since this is a float, I'm just going to round it to the closest int. And if that happens to round down to 0, which is possible, then we'll take the max of 1 and 0, which will be 1. So that will just always ensure that you're shooting at least 1 bullet. Okay, I'm going to not worry about any of these multipliers just yet here. I mean, maybe I should actually, because if I'm... Yeah, let's just get rid of all this stuff. Knockback multiplier is fine. Ammo capacity multiplier is going away. Total ammo capacity. Yeah, so I'm going to change this to... Let's rename this to base ammo capacity. And then I'm going to do public int ammo capacity. And we'll do the same kind of calculation down here. Stats dot ammo capacity is equal to mathf.max, again, same thing. Base bullets per second. I'm just going to change this to bullets per second. Get rid of this. Base bullets per second can go away. Why is this not working? Object reference is required for a non-static field. Oh. There we go. Alrighty. Range, base range. We don't have a range multiplier anymore. Damage scaled by bullet damage percent multiplier. Goodness. Damage times bullet damage percent modifier. Oh, I do need the bullet damage percent modifier. Okay. Private or public float bullet damage percent modifier. I do need that because that's used across the... Oh, you know what? Increasing fire rate. I may have made a mistake here. I may have made a mistake here. Let me see. Bullets per second. Oh, that's just multiplying the bullets per second directly. Interesting. That's not even adding a multiplier. Okay, well. Ammo capacity. Okay. Heard about that. Wishing you guys the best. Stay safe. Oh yeah, the freeze stuff. It'll be fine. Yeah, I'm gonna yeah, run. I don't know how many pipes I'm supposed to trickle, but I'll probably what I'll probably do is trickle the faucets and whatnot, and then set an alarm throughout the night for like 3 or 4 hours and just get up and check on everything. Do you use C# because you use Unity? No, I have not really used Unity in any serious capacity. I use C# mostly just because it seemed like it would be good for me for what I need to do and how I'm comfortable working, so that's why I chose it. Was in here yesterday to talk about its scene tree attribute. Have to apologize, it seemed like someone from a NuGet package that I didn't remember adding to the project. Would be a nice addition. Oh yeah. I mean, that's kind of like that's kind of what my source generator does. Actually, I might know the package that you're talking about because I saw that package and I had my problem with that package was it was just doing way too much, and I thought it could be simpler. I don't remember what package it was, but that's what kind of inspired me to that's kind of what inspired me to do that. Why didn't you use casting instead of round? Just curious, because casting is a floor operation. So if you cast a float to an int, it just chops off the fractional component, even if it's 0.9999. So I wanted to round. I just wanted to go to whatever whole integer is closest. I could use casting if I wanted it to floor, though. Thank you for your videos. I'm learning a lot from them. I would like to ask you a question about GDScript and C# since I'm learning GDScript now. Sure, Simone. What do you think someone should move? When do you think someone should move away from Godot GDScript to visual code using C#? I asked this question because I'm interested in your C# course based on the grid system. I mean, I don't know if I would phrase it as you should move away from GDScript. It's a question of do you want to? And if you want to use C#, then I think it depends on what your level of programming experience is. I guess I would say if you're interested in moving to C#, but you don't have any programming experience, then I would stick with GDScript first, or a different non-statically typed language. I know GDScript has optional typing, but you know, get the hang of like how to actually write code with proper logic and if statements and arrays and all that stuff. Get a hang of that before moving on to C#, because everything in C# is typed, right? And that just, I think for people who are new to programming, having to wrap your mind around how to write code plus the types at the same time, it's like it makes the learning curve extra steep. So yeah, I would just say get your mind around the logic and the process of writing code first, and then you can move on to, you know, dealing with the types and how to work in that paradigm. Yeah, I mean, I would stick with GDScript. There's no reason to move to C# if you're still getting started. I would just stick with GDScript. There's no C# isn't better than GDScript. I mean, in certain areas maybe you can make that argument, but it's whatever the best language is, whatever one you feel most comfortable and productive in. So, yeah, I don't think there's a need for you to switch unless you're interested, and then yeah. I like C++ for the core stuff, so coworkers can use my C++ stuff with GDScript. Nice. I just moved to C# because of a need for interfaces. Yeah, when you start to need that kind of stuff, or you feel like you need that stuff, that's a good time to move. So we're gonna get rid of base range, bullet range %, bullets per second. I sure hope I'm not missing anything. Bullets per shot. Am I using base bullets per shot? I am. Got to make sure that that's in place as well. Bullet angle, yes. There's got to be an easier way to do this. Okay. Bullets per shot, bullet angle, bullet speed, bullets per second. So I just got to make sure all these things are duplicated. Oh, ammo capacity is not. Damage, range. Range is not in here. Why is range not in there? Knockback multiplier has set bonus, total affix slots, bullet damage percent. From faction, bullet layer, and I don't think any of these. Oh, muzzle flash scene, affixes, overflow, innate. And then these are calculated, so that doesn't matter. Okay, perfect. So I think all of those properties are being duplicated now. So that's good. All right, what do we got in here? Make enemy gun stats. This needs to change to range. Bullet speed, bullets per shot. That should all be fine here. And then, is that it? Okay. The cat was cold. Okay, so let me build and see if this... Oh, this has been up this whole time. Let me build and see if this... I mean, I'm sure it will error somewhere, but just trying to take it slow, make sure all the data gets transferred over between all these parts. Gun stats does not contain... Oh, bullet range percent modifier. Public float bullet range percent modifier. So stats.range. Yeah, see, here's the thing. Okay, so... Yeah, I'm gonna have to change this to base range. Actually, undo that. Change this to base range. So, yeah, I forgot that there are some affixes that change that range there, so we do need that bullet range percent modifier. That's fine. Failed to build project, total ammo capacity. We're not doing any ammo capacity multipliers, at least not yet, so fix that there. Fix that there. Base range. Back to the way it was. Oh goodness. I guess it would have just been easier to keep the name total ammo capacity, but that's fine. Okay. I think that should be all the instances of that. Okay, no errors. All right, so let's see if I just did this correctly. So I'm going to run the game, and then I'm just going to see probably every gun is going to behave exactly the same. So there's that, there's that. So yeah, they're behaving exactly the same. They should have the same capacities and everything, basically the same everything, because I haven't changed any of the stats yet. So this is kind of like what a median gun will feel like. So now the tricky part comes in, which is where I need to get the gun part randomizer working. So let me do this. I don't know if I want to do all that just yet. She'll work on new stat system. Okay. This is quite a big change. So gun part randomizer. So we randomize the barrel, we randomize, see, we don't need to do any of this now, which is great. This can all be moved into a single method. So private static void randomize part, randomizer parameters, gun part resource. Actually, I guess I could just remove this. I don't need that. Okay. So what we'll do is we will take this stuff. Var resource equals parameters.resource. So this is the bullet speed contribution. Base resource. What is base resource? Oh. Is there a reason why I made these private? Okay, that should fix it. Alrighty. Bullets per shot contribution. So this is how build rounded int. I don't want that. Just build. Bullet angle contribution. So this is basically how I'm randomizing all these parts. So basically, I just set up a bullet angle contribution. I have a normal distribution that kind of bases it on the bullets per second. Or just bases it on the base resource, bullets per second, for instance. And constructs a standard deviation based on just basically a magic number that just kind of feels good. But now that every resource contributes equally to everything, I can just say ammo capacity. What is this? Capacity contribution, capacity contribution, capacity contribution, mathf.min. I don't need to do this anymore. Okay, build resource dot range contribution, standard deviation of 10. Is that fine? No, let's turn that down to 5. Bullets per second contribution, bullets per second contribution, standard deviation of 0.75. Turn it down to 0.25. The other thing I have to remember is that this is going to be applied 3 times over, right? So I should probably actually turn everything down quite a bit. I already turned that down. Cool. Okay, so that's done, and then we can do this. Now the tier, that is an interesting one. Oh, why is everything so difficult, man? Why is everything so difficult? Oh boy, I forgot about the tier. Well, that should be fine, actually. Gee, dang it. Resource.tier. Yeah, this tier stuff is just not going to work anymore. Okay. So this tier basically is a way of scaling the damage as the waves go on, but I think I'm going to need to change that. That might actually be... I need to find a different way of scaling the overall damage of each part as the waves increase or go on. So that system needs to go, but we will take this one step at a time here. Damage contribution, damage contribution. This should be divided by like 18. Diff to target. So this base to do base this on highest value. So the other thing that I'm going to do is I may have some part resources that have a very high damage contribution, and I want to make everything else relative to that. So basically what I want to do is that for any gun part that has the highest level of damage contribution, let's say I just add like, it does 10 damage contribution, like the sniper receiver adds 10 damage to the gun, which is like double any other gun, right? Well, what I want to do is I want to make that like the max, and I want it to have diminishing returns in terms of the standard deviation for the damage. So that means that if I've got 10 damage, it really should not happen that that damage goes very high. So it shouldn't go like past 11 basically, right? But the other thing is that the lower damage weapons should have a wider variability up to that limit in terms of their standard deviation. So that means that while a maxed out gun part is going to deviate very little from its max value, something that has a damage of 5 has the potential to go up to like 7 and 8 and 9, and in rare cases 10, right? So in other words, stretching that range for the lower parts to meet the upper level of whatever's been defined in the gun part resources. And I want to do that for every part. So if I have like it basically becomes the de facto like soft cap, like whatever the highest value is from the raw resource value becomes the de facto soft cap that everything can have its curve stretched to as a target, as like the max tail end of the normal distribution, if that makes sense. So, but do damage based on highest value. So I unfortunately don't have that though. So what I'm going to do instead is just make the standard deviation here this base resource dot damage contribution divided by 6 or something, 8. I don't know. This is all just guesswork basically. Did I already do? Oh, this is the multiplier. Okay, we don't have those anymore. Cool. Okay, randomize receiver, we can get rid of that. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do I have something that I'm missing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, okay. So I think all those are there. Okay. Catch up on chat here. Is the course still valid in case someone uses GDScript, or are there some things that are difficult to convert? Talk about the C# course. I would not recommend trying to do the C# course in GDScript because it's too different. I mean, there are people that are doing it, and that's totally fine, but it's not going to be easy, I don't think. I find that as you learn code, your confidence will build up. You will eventually reach a level where learning something new like C# is not scary, but rather a challenge you look forward to. Yes, I think that's exactly right, Lance. Yeah, I think this is good advice too. Yeah, stick with it up to a point. Like, again, I think the most important thing is not, like, you shouldn't worry about, like, am I using the correct language for this? Like, my opinion is that the correct language is whatever language allows you to easily implement everything that you're trying to implement, and whatever you're most productive with. If you're trying to use C#, for instance, and you're constantly struggling with it, that's going to kill your momentum. If your end goal is not to learn programming, but to build a game, then you should just use whatever language allows you to accomplish that goal with relative ease, right? You shouldn't be adding extra barriers to accomplishing what you're trying to accomplish. But if you think that C# is going to help you and you want to put the upfront effort into learning it, that's fine too. It's not a matter of like what's the correct language to use, really. It's about what is the best language for me personally to get my work done, essentially. I'm coming from other direction. I learned C# and Unity and chose to learn GDScript when I switched to Godot. It has been a good experience. Yeah, I think GDScript is perfectly fine. I like GDScript actually quite a bit. Okay, so now I need to figure out a way of testing this. But maybe I should just go ahead and update all these numbers. So let me think. So I'm just gonna try to emulate everything here. So I'm gonna try to emulate the stats that I currently have. So for instance, for the bullet speed here, this needs to be divided by 3. So I'm gonna do 200 divided by 3. That's gonna give me 66. Bullets per shot contribution, that's fine. Bullet angle contribution, so 10 divided by 3. Can I copy the values in this section? Damage contribution, so I'm gonna need to kind of bounce around a little bit, which is kind of annoying, but... So bullets per shot, so I've got those down. Okay, so banana magazine. So ammo capacity contribution, 8 divided by 3. 8 divided by 3 is not 2. There we go. Okay. Range contribution. So this is going to be a little bit annoying. Oh, I'm gonna have to do this for everything. Oh goodness. I might write a script to do this, honestly. I don't want to do this myself. Are you kidding me? I think I'll write a script to do this. Yeah, I guess I'll write a script. I don't know. I'll write a script. Yeah, let's do it. I don't want to manually change all that stuff. Okay, so update gun part randomizer. So again, this is just all an experiment. I'm doing this on a different branch, so if I ever want to undo it, I can easily hit that undo button. Hello, Diozoid. Welcome back to the stream. Great to see you. Okay, I'm going to take a quick break for just a couple minutes. So I had to do some deep dive into recently into control nodes and UI development. Let me tell you, 4.4 cannot come fast enough. Oh, what does 4.4 have related to UI? I wasn't paying attention to any UI things specifically. Yeah, anyway, I'm going to take a quick 2-minute break, get a refill on my drink and all that stuff. So in the meantime, please check out the links in the description below. Those are all the ways that you can support me. Wishlisting Gunforge probably is the most important thing, but also you can purchase one of my courses. That would be greatly appreciated. And yeah, give me 2 minutes and I'll be right back, and then we'll continue on with this experimentation. Okay, BRB. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Took a little bit longer than I thought it would, but we're ready to go. So line edit can still receive keys while not focused. Oh, very nice. I have not yet found a use for that, but it does sound useful. Number of times the coding diversion has been caused by I don't want to is probably up there. Yeah. Yes, indeed. But I think I should be able to do this with relative ease here. Public stat. I'm just going to put it here. Well, maybe I should. Here's what I'll do. Because I want to enter it into the commit history just in case I want to pull it back, but I'm not going to leave it in the code base. So I'm going to write a new method, migrate gun part resources. Private static void. Okay, so for each var, let's do this. Var prefix IDs is equal to new hash set string prefix IDs. Well, I don't need to do that actually. Let's do prefix IDs. Let's do this. Equals gun registry dot all IDs dot select x gun registry dot get gun part from ID x dot prefix ID prefix there dot to hash set. Okay, so I'm getting all the unique ID prefixes. So this is all the gun types. So every necromancer part, so the necromancer barrel receiver, whatever, they have the ID prefix of necromancer. So I'm basically just saying get all the thematic gun types. And then in here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say for each var prefix ID in prefix IDs. And then I'm going to do this. Let's go to my gun generation template. Generate gun template here. So I'm already doing this kind of thing in here. So I've got resource saver.save, receiver.new. Interesting. I don't exactly know how this is going to work. Resource saver.save resource. Oh, I see. So we're going to need this, but we're also going to need to load it. Okay, let's do this. Var barrel resource name. Okay, so this is magazine resource name, receiver resource name. Okay, so var resource path. We don't need to type all these things all over again, you know what I'm saying? So let's do var resource path is equal to that. Okay. Var magazine resource is equal to gd.load gun magazine resource path magazine resource name and then this can be barrel. Okay, so now that we're loading all those things up, what is it that I need to do? I need to My cat is doing something. My other cat is doing something out there. Hey there, dropping by to wish you well. Always nice to see you chipping away at your project. Thank you, Damien. I appreciate that. Thanks for stopping by. Hello, Polaris. Thank you so much. Hope you have a nice day as well. So I'm trying to think of how the best way to do this would be. I'm wondering if I can just cheat a little bit. So if I say var stats is equal to gun stats.from part resources, magazine resource, receiver resource, because this automatically adds everything up for me like that. And then what I can do is I can say magazine resource dot ammo capacity contribution is equal to stats.ammo capacity divided by 3, right? So I could just do that. So what I'd probably do is var capacity per part is equal to stats.ammo capacity divided by, or would I want base ammo capacity, I guess? Why is this still here? Oh yeah. Wait a minute. No, this isn't going to work because I just changed all those stats. Okay, so I'm going to need to do this somewhat manually. So let's do var old. Let's see. Banana barrel speed. Okay, so we'll start with the barrel. So speed, bullets per shot, and bullet angle are the old things. So old speed equals barrel resource dot bullet speed. Var old angle is equal to barrel resource dot bullet angle, and var old, what was it? Bullets per shot. I'm gonna do this. Barrel resource dot bullets per shot is greater than 1. Then I'm going to do barrel resource bullets per shot divided by (3f), otherwise 0. And the reason I'm doing this is because I don't want to override that default value in the resource for that bullets per shot. There's no reason to do that if it's just going to remain 1. Okay, so that's the banana barrel. So the banana magazine now, capacity bullets per second in range. So var old capacity is equal to magazine resource dot ammo capacity divided by 3. Var old. I guess I shouldn't be calling these old, but that's all right. Bullets per second equals magazine resource dot bullets per second divided by 3. Var old range. Okay, and then we just got to do the receiver now, which should be simpler because it's just the damage coming from the receiver. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 7 total stats here. So var old damage is equal to receiver resource dot damage divided by 3. Okay. So I'm grabbing all of the old way of grabbing the stats and dividing each of them by 3. And then what I can do now is I can say for each var resource in, let's do gun part resource, magazine resource, receiver resource, barrel resource. And then in here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say resource dot speed contribution is equal to old speed. Resource dot bullet angle contribution is equal to old angle. Resource dot bullets per shot contribution is equal to, let's do this actually, if resource, let's do if old bullets per shot is greater than 0. because again, I don't want to override the default value there. If it's just one bullet, then I don't want to override the default value because then it's gonna just make everything messy. So old bullets per shot, old capacity, resource.capacity contribution is equal to old capacity. Resource.bullets per second contribution is equal to old bullets per second. Resource.range contribution is equal to old range, and resource.damage contribution is equal to old damage. Okay, and then in here I can do resource saver.save. Do I need to do that? So we're going to save, oh, excuse me, we're going to save all these things, and then do I need to provide a path? Yeah, I don't need to provide a path here. These are already, so I don't need to do this. I can just do resource saver.save resource. Okay, are there any mistakes here? Old damage, old range, old bullets per second, old capacity, old bullets per shot, old angle, old. Okay, so what this should essentially do is like every gun should basically feel the same or the same as it used to now. So we got this migrate gun part resources. I'm going to put that as public because I'm going to go into my game events now and I'm just going to say on ready. I don't have a ready method in here. All right. I guess I'll put one. Ready. Gun part randomizer dot migrate gun part resources. Okay, here we go. Hello, Rootbin. Welcome back to the stream. All right, let's see if this migration works. Boom. And then we'll have to do some spot checks to see if this is going to work. Okay, let's see. Let's see, bullets per, so banana receiver, damage. Let's see what the damage looks like. Damage contribution 2, look at that. Banana magazine, let's see, bullets per second, so 4 divided by 3. Is that right? 1 1/3. Yep, that's right. Cool. Range, 75. 75 times 3 is, yeah, that's 225. Bullet speed contribution. Why is that 200? Did I not do this correctly? Oh, I didn't do either of these correctly. Divided by 3. Divided by 3. Good news is I can just run the migration again. So let's try this again. Good thing I checked that. Yeah, writing migrations is much nicer than doing this all by hand. Okay, bullet angle contribution, that's much more like it. Cool. Bullet speed. Yep, so these are all good. So now, if I actually run the game here, nope, that's not working. So something's not working with the shotgun here. Shotgun, it's probably an issue with my gun stats, if I'm being honest. Bullets per shot contribution. Oh yeah, my bullets per shot contribution is not working correctly. Oh, that's because that's wrong. Bullets per shot contribution. Okay. Let's try it again. There's a lot of places where this can go wrong. Hello, Joe Games. Ju Games. Oh, still wrong. Bullets per shot contribution. So that's correct now. Is it a problem in my gun stats? Oh, I did the same thing. I'm just getting my bullets per shot and bullets per second mixed up. Okay. Let's try it again. Almost there. Now that ammo capacity... the ammo capacity is probably getting messed up because of the multipliers. Let me see, poison... or moss, rather. Bullets per second multiplier. So I gotta account for these multipliers here. So ammo capacity multiplier and bullet per second multiplier. So I need to account for those. So if I go in here, hold capacity, magazine resource dot ammo capacity times receiver resource dot ammo capacity multiplier. What's the other multiplier I have? Bullets per second multiplier. Okay, do I have any other multipliers here? Ammo capacity is 9. Why is that ending up with much higher ammo capacity? Seems like it is anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's way higher than 9. Why is that happening? Ammo capacity. Capacity contribution is 3. 3. 3. So where's the extra ammo? Oh, is it still multiplying in the gun stats? Let's see. Ammo capacity. Oh, right. Yeah, this here is wrong. So we're gonna get rid of this. Get rid of these. So we still need those specific magazine resources, but those can be fine. Okay, so now... hooray for migrations. Okay, that feels basically back to how Gunforged is supposed to feel. Gun Necromancer left. We'll just make sure that all these things are still good. Okay, so everything feels fine. And what I can do is, now that all those things have been migrated, yeah, I need to still do the tier calculation here, but Okay, so we've got the migration. So migrate gun part resources. And then what I'm going to do immediately afterwards is I'm going to get rid of this ready method here. And then go into my gun part randomizer and also delete the migration code. So I can always pull that back in if I need it, since it's in the history. But I'm not going to be accidentally using it now that it's been deleted. Hello, Snup Bill. Thank you so much for the IDR 20,000 with the message Yummers. Very much appreciate that. Always, always appreciate it. It's very generous. Okay, so let's play the game a little bit, and we're just going to see now how the randomization feels. The weapon damage is not going to scale very well because I haven't yet added back in the weapon scaling, but now since each part can contribute some aspect of the overall stats, it should make randomization a little bit more interesting. Increase stamina, fine. Oh, ooh. I gotta do the necromancer, though. So this is actually much more interesting because each part can dramatically change the gun in a lot of ways, so that's cool. Already got the necromancer though. Go! My army. So yeah, if I get the damage stuff going, it'll be pretty easy to get this working here. This is going to require a lot of play testing. Ooh, a rat magazine. Go rats! Oh, it shoots 2 at once? Really? Spread is 13. Oh, that's because they follow the cursor, so they're not really spreading that much. Why is that speed so high? 419, goodness. Okay, loot goblin, increased health. I'm not really doing a real playthrough here, I'm just mostly trying things out. That speed is ridiculous, oh my gosh. But I can increase the speed of my skeletons too, hehehe. Okay, so I'm gonna have to play with that a little bit, but go! That's pretty fun. Okay, so def reload, that's fine. Ooh, cow. Is it shooting? Oh, it's shooting 2 bullets at once. But the spread is like not working. I want to just see if the spread is working. Add gold 100. Here, oil barrel, no. Bone magazine here. Let's just try this. Okay, so that spread is working. Cool. It's just because the skeletons, they do their own pathfinding that the spread doesn't really work. Although the spread does increase their wander amount, I think. Okay. All right. Love the new passive unlock stuff and the look of the new rat. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Rin. Welcome back to the stream, by the way. Hello, Myri. Wish you a productive day. It's 1 a.m. in what? Yakutia? Is that a country? But yeah, thank you. Welcome. Okay, so let's see. So I need to figure out a way to get this damage working now. In the gun part randomizer here. This damage tier stuff. Because before... this is how the damage is working. It's a region in Russia. Oh, I see. I gotcha. I was like, I am either super ignorant or that's not a country. And I'm right. It's not a country. Anyway, let's see. So, max tier curve scaling curve. So I can probably damage times remap tier. I wonder if I should just move this tier stuff into just the base gun part resource. I think I probably should. This tier code is really bad, but we'll just deal with it for now. Maybe I'll find a different way to do this. Get scaled damage. Where is that ever? Oh, this scaled damage is being used where? Right, okay. Why wouldn't I just apply that at the level of... Yeah, I think what I'll do, copy this, remove that, gun part randomizer, so in here, when I'm doing the damage here, damage contribution, I guess I need to randomize the tier as well. Let me think about this. So maybe I don't want the scaling curve in there. Maybe I'll just put it in the gun part randomizer. So there's the scaling curve, gun part resource. We have to randomize the tier, I think. So how was I doing that? Let's look at the code here. Where is the tier? Here it is. So I'll just copy that and paste it in here. So we'll do the tier first, because it doesn't really matter. So we'll get the progress percent. So this is how far to the max tier this is. Then we sample it from the scaling curve, and then we can say resource.damage contribution. Resource.damage contribution is, or times equals 1F plus scale value. Okay. So it's going to give it a random tier based on the median tier that can be looted, and then it's going to do its typical damage calculation, but then it's going to multiply that damage contribution by the scaled value here. So that should gradually, the whole idea behind that is that that will gradually increase the power of the resources that you get. So now ID to damage resource.id. This is only randomizing receiver IDs. So this is not working, but that's all right. I'll just put damage contribution in there. Okay. Cool. Is this being used anywhere? It isn't. Okay, perfect. So this dupe.tier equals tier. So I do need to move this into this tier duplication stuff needs to be in here, because this is not an exported property, so I need to explicitly duplicate that. Okay, all right. Let's do some playtesting and see if that makes a difference. And I'm gonna have to tweak a bunch of numbers and stuff. And again, I want to make it all relative, so I want to make the variability in the normal distributions like based on a soft cap. So I'm going to identify the weapon part that has the highest, fire rate, and the weapon part that has the highest ammo capacity and all that stuff. And then those are going to serve as like the soft caps. Those are going to be like the limits that each gun part can hit. And let's say that you have a weapon that fires at 6 bullets per second, and then you have one that fires at 2 bullets per second. The idea is that the 2 bullets per second one is going to vary. It's going to have a lot more variance in it than the highest one, because I don't want like, oh, you can get up to 12 bullets per second fire rate, because I want to have a way of controlling like the high end, right? So I say, okay, well, 6 is like the soft cap. You could get to 7, you could maybe get to 7.5 or 8 in very rare situations, but 6 is basically like the soft cap where diminishing returns really kicks in. And then if you have like a fire rate of 2 bullets per second, there's going to be a lot more variance in there. So it's going to have the potential in very rare cases to equal the 6 bullets per second, but generally speaking, it's going to fall closer between like 2 and 4, if that makes sense. So I got to treat like just identify the highest level stat in each individual gun part and then use that as like this soft cap for that value. And we'll see what happens, but let's go ahead and do this. And I'm going to need to run a bunch of simulations too. Like before, what I was doing to identify how the drop rates were working is I would just generate 10,000 random drops and then aggregate a bunch of the data and just like look at it and see roughly what the pattern was. And the problem that I was dealing with before is that the pattern was that certain gun parts would always be on top and certain gun parts would always be on bottom. There was very little mobility between all those things, which I want this game to feel like you're constantly swapping things in and out. Get out of my life, rats. These new rats are so satisfying to kill. Oof. Beefy. Pants on fire. Let's do pants on fire. Ooh, what is this? Wow, look at that bullet speed. Boom. Oh, it fires 2 bullets too? Nice. I'm not doing so hot. I'm almost dead already in my own game. Berserk. Ooh, that would be a good one. And that is working, right? Let's see. Bullet damage percent modifier, and that's being used in the damage scale, damage per bullet, and this is being used in the hurt box. Right, okay. Cool. All right. Just making sure that that's all working as expected. So we'll just do a playthrough here, assuming I don't die. And we'll see what happens. Got a health globe. I redid the health globe art too. I think it looks much nicer. Hello, Murvy Doug. Random question, if you don't mind. Is making a building system similar to Project Zomboid possible to make in a top-down 2D game in Godot? Sorry for the lengthy question. Is it possible? Yeah, it should be. Do I know how to do it? No. I mean, I'm not that familiar with Project Zomboid's building system, but I understand that you can have like multiple layers and stuff, like you can have upstairs and whatnot. And I think that honestly, that's probably very tricky to do, regardless of whatever 2D framework or engine you're using is. There's nothing about Godot that would make that a particularly difficult task. I don't think. I just think that that's probably a difficult task to begin with because you're dealing with a 2D arena or 2D visual, 2D engine. but then you have to like manually keep track of like the Y or the Z layers, however you want, whichever axis is up from the ground. You have to manually kind of account for that, which means that, you know, like one big problem is if there's a zombie on the first floor and you're on the third floor, you don't want any hitboxes to interact between those things, right? And so like as you go up on the Z index, you'd have to change around the hitboxes or have some other system that can manage that in an automated way, or you'd have to build a framework for that. And then there's the question of like, how does it work on stairs, right? Like if you're on the stairs fighting a zombie, like, is there going to be a weird situation where you're on the next layer up and the zombie's on the next layer below and you can't hit each other because of that? So there's a lot of like weird problems that are going to come up when you try to do a system like that. And then of course for the building system specifically, it's the same thing, right? You have to keep track of which pieces are on which layer, and then you'll have to dynamically hide and show those pieces based on where the player is and what the perspective is and all that stuff. So anyway, I would say that probably it's probably, I mean, it should be possible in Godot. Would it be easy? No, but I don't think it would be easy. It's not the kind of problem that I would look at and be like, oh yeah, I know exactly how to do that. That one would be like, that would take quite a bit of effort to figure all that stuff out. But is it possible? Yes, should be possible. So it's hard regardless of what engine you use. Yeah, I mean, if anyone's in the chat that disagrees, feel free to disagree, but I think that that would probably be one of the more difficult things to do. I mean, building systems generally are pretty difficult, but when you have to manage multiple like elevation layers in a 2D game, that's really where it gets tricky. If you kept it all to one layer and you just said you can only build one-story buildings, that would simplify things greatly, because then you wouldn't need to manage like hitboxes and different visibility layers and all that stuff. This is feeling pretty good, I must say. Ooh, that's a big damage increase. I'm getting more multi-shot. Ooh, no. Yes. Yeah, go. Scramble gun? Why not? Let's see what happens when I scramble a gun. Bam. Okay, I'm not going to say that that was an excellent scramble, but so far, so good. I think this new system is feeling really, really good. I'm already using a much wider diversity of weapon parts than I was previously, which is great because now that's going to make me, it's going to hopefully force me to make even tougher decisions here. Increased health, let's do that one. Nothing is easy, I think. Don't really matter the engine. Project Zomboid is 3D, but top down, isn't it? Is Project Zomboid 3D or is it pure 2D? If you made it, so I'm assuming that it's a 2D game, but if it's actually a 3D game, then that becomes a lot easier, because obviously if you're building the game as 3D from the ground up, then all of that Z-index stuff is going to be handled for you because everything's being done in 3D space. So everything that I said about hitboxes and layers and stuff becomes a lot easier if you build it in 3D. So I guess, I mean, look, if I was going to make Project Zomboid but make it look like it's a 2D sprite-based game, what I would probably do is I would probably make it 3D and then just use camera projection tricks to make it look like it's 2D. But the reason that I would strongly investigate building it as 3D first is because then you automatically get all the hitbox messiness and the layer messiness and the elevation messiness that I was mentioning earlier. All of that gets automatically handled for you basically if you build it as a 3D game, and then you can just make it look 2D with the camera projection, and you can still use sprites and pixel art textures and stuff. And you can still render it at a low resolution. So I would seriously consider that. If I was going to build a 2D game with elevation, I would start by, well, can I make it look 2D, but it's actually 3D, you know? Product Zomboid is 3D with isometric view. Okay, that makes sense, yeah. So that would make the task a whole lot simpler, I think. Some of the sprites are 2D. As soon as it's 3D space, it's a lot easier, yeah. That would be, now that I'm thinking about it, that's the way that I would go. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, everything becomes easier if you just build it as a 3D game and make it look 2D, rather than build it as a 2D game and make it look 3D. Yeah. Yep, that's the way I'd do it. It'd still be hard, but it would be a whole lot easier, because then all you got to do really is just worry about the building system, but all the elevation stuff gets handled for you, and you still have to worry about like hiding and showing different layers based on where the camera is and where the player is. But that's a problem with any kind of like isometric 3D game. Oof. Go skeletons! This is feeling really good. I'm liking these changes that I made here. Friend of Hades ×2, yes. Ooh, that's a big damage increase. Bullet speed goes up, range goes up, spread goes down. Rune slots go up, so we can put this here, put that there, and put bullet pierce. Oof. Yes, go skeletons. Look at them. That icon is backwards. The health globe pickup icon. Ouch. You are welcome, Murphy Doug. Looking forward to play your game as well. Thank you. Surgeon. Let's do Surgeon. That's a good one. Ooh, Dragon. Ooh, I almost got a full Dragon one. Let's see. Should I reroll? Come on, give me a Dragon Wing. Give me a Dragon Wing. Come on. Oh, 2 rat pieces. I need a Dragon Wing. Okay. Hold on, let me try something. Arena, loot manager. Oh, I am biasing the loot table in favor of, so if I've got a bunch of dragon parts become more likely. So I'm biasing the loot table in favor of the player so they can construct full sets, basically. Go, Shade. Go apply Haunt to them. The Shade is so cute. When switching guns, unleash lightning bolts for every bullet that was fired, or lifesteal. Let's do this one. This is going to be crazy. Do I have pants on fire? Oh, I do. Ah, I got too close to him. That's all right. Oh, I got too close to him again. All right. Yeah, this is bad. This is real bad. Goodness gracious. Ooh, almost died right there. The rat bullet almost got me. Give me that gold, thank you. Stamina, let's do stamina. I have a question too, but I don't need to be too deep. How do you manage to build an upgrade system? Do you have a class that calculate data and stores all the result? Upgrade system. So are you talking about just like these weapon parts here that I'm getting that are increasing in power? Bullet split. Or do you, is there a specific thing you're thinking about with respect to Gunforge, or are you just asking generally speaking, how would you go about creating a system, an upgrade system? This is feeling pretty good. Not gonna lie. Ooh, that was a big group of enemies that just got clobbered. For example, in incremental games or upgrades that you choose in a roguelike game. Oh, a roguelike genre, okay. Yeah, so like, so I can talk about Gunforge's passive system a little bit because it's kind of like upgrades. So basically, there's a couple of components that you really need to kind of be aware of. Let me see if I can describe this as succinctly as possible. So firstly, you'll want like a loot table that can display a couple of choices based on weights, and that way you can control the rarity of different items. You can use a weighted loot table. There's plenty of resources online about that. But in terms of like the actual implementation of the logic, so the best way to go about implementing an upgrade system, as in like a roguelike, is to make everything event-based. And what I mean by that is that you should have a way of listening for events in the game that happen that allow you to inject or respond to those, inject extra functionality or respond to events that happen. So for instance, if I get an upgrade in Gunforge that says that I'm going to deal 75% extra bullet damage per missing health, what I need in that case is I need a way of modifying the bullet damage before it damages anything, right? So that when it hits something, it has the damage that it needs to have. And how I do that is I emit a global event, or a game event is what I call it, and I say, hey, the player is about to fire the gun, and the player's about to fire the gun with this gun stats object. Now, this is another thread that we don't need to go down super deep, but the gun stats object is essentially the summation of all the stats from my current gun. And that is the thing that governs how the bullets fly, how much damage they do, what affixes they have, and all that stuff. But if I tell the game globally, hey, the player has just fired the gun, the bullets are about to be created with this gun stats object, then what I can do is I can hook into that and I can say, okay, well, this passive that does 75% damage per missing health, I can respond to that game event, and that game event can pass along the reference to the gun stats object that is being created by the player. And then now that I have the reference of the exact object that the player is using for the bullets, I can then go in there and I can modify it. And I can say, okay, increase the bullet damage percent multiplier by 0.75 per missing health, right? And so that's the general pattern. And so you just place these kind of global events around the game that you can respond to. So I also have a global event for like when entities get hit. And so I can respond to that. I can say, okay, an entity has been hit. And then my passive code, I can listen for that event. And then I can use the context that the event is sending along with it to determine what logic I need to run. So this is the other thing. Those game events need to have all the context that is relevant. So if I'm emitting an entity hit event, what I should be saying is, here's the entity that was hit, here's the bullet that hit the entity, here's the stats of that bullet, and then here's, I always include a reference to the scene tree as well, just because it's useful to have. But think of it as like context, right? Gather up all the context relevant to that event and send it along in a signal. And then anything that needs to respond to that event can listen to that global event or that game event, and it will have the context there that it can use to run its logic. Does that make sense? So think like event-based as much as possible. And then there are some things that aren't necessarily event-based, like I have a meta upgrade system that, for instance, changes the player like dash recharge speed, for instance. That is just detected in the player script. The presence of that upgrade is detected when the player gets instantiated, and then the dash speed wait time or recharge time is tweaked right there. And then, so it doesn't need to all be event-based, but you kind of have to use your judgment about like what upgrades can just like respond to events and what upgrades need to actually like change something in a particular class. But yeah, so that's the other thing. That's a good point. Another side of internet. Well, calculating with the base stat and all concerned upgrades every time you need those numbers. Yeah, so I'm of the opinion that you don't really want to be caching values. Like I almost always recalculate every value, even if it's like it's going to be the same value every time, because that just makes it so that it's always up to date. You're never going to have any stale data, right? So anytime that a passive kicks in, it just recalculates the data every time, just boom, boom, boom. And it doesn't have a noticeable performance impact, and it also just makes it a lot simpler because I'm just like, I guess you could say atomically, like I'm just in that very specific instance applying that very specific upgrade. Even if that happens 100 more times in the next few seconds, it's just like very narrowly considering this event only. And then when the next event comes in, it's very narrowly considering that event. And if you kind of view it as like a pipeline where like things are flowing through the pipes and they all get combined, and like this pipe has a 90-degree angle over here, like, I don't know, that's kind of how I think it. Like, just imagine how the data is flowing through the system and getting modified and squeezed and opened up and all that stuff. I don't know if that's helpful. It's like an analogy that I like to use. In your older vids, I noticed you used to have a blog in your website, which I found pretty nifty. Will it make a comeback? It looked really informative. Yeah, I don't, I just stopped writing blog things for that, and I just don't have time to do a blog. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff that I want to share, but I don't have time. I wish I had more time, I just don't. It pains me. I have so much that I want to do, and I have to like leave a bunch of stuff on the back burner. Either provide the data you need for the signal, or provide an ID to get your data from the event. Yeah. Yep. I usually include like just a bunch of context in my game events, and then that gives me a lot of room to do whatever I need to do with it. Okay. Greaseball, Secret Service. Let's do Greaseball. Why not? Ooh, that's big damage. The fire rate went down. That's all right. I might need to... So the other thing about this randomizer here is that this isn't a true normal distribution. What I'm doing in here is I'm actually just taking the absolute value of the normal distribution. So a typical normal distribution, right, has a left side of the mean and a right side of the mean. But what I'm doing is I'm converting all the values to the right side. So even if it generates a value to the left side, which would be in the negative direction, because for the mean value of the normal distribution, I'm using the number that I've configured in the resource here. So like capacity contribution 3, that's the mean. And so what I've done, at least in the old system, is I've made it so that the normal distribution only adds to 3. It never takes away from 3. So it never generates a part that's worse than the default configuration. But I might actually end up changing that. That was kind of like a stopgap measure that I used for the old system. But now that I've got this, I may still limit how bad a part can be. But what I might do is just make sure that it can't go past halfway past the worst it could be, you know. And I might only do that for certain properties. Like I probably wouldn't do that for damage, because I want the damage to be gradually increasing all the time. But I could probably do that for like fire rate and bullet angle and all that stuff. So I'll have to look into that. Let me actually make a note of that. To do, don't use absolute value of normal distribution for certain properties. Ooh, I'm still waiting for my dragon magazine. I keep wasting my money trying to get... Ooh, do I want to get rid of... No, I want to keep my skeletons. I'm not doing that. My brain is so focused on computing optimization, I'm scared to calculate every time the same result. Yeah. I think I understand that because I used to be that way as well. It's like, why would I recalculate the value if it's not going to change? But the problem is that introduces all kinds of issues with like stale data, and you have to like be sure that you're making sure the data is updated whenever the conditions change. And it's like, there are some cases where that's the smart thing to do, but for the most part, if all you're dealing with is like stat numbers, just recalculate it, you know? Like just that gun stats object that I was talking about, like that gun stats object is recreated every time the gun gets shot, even though during the wave the gun is not changing, right? So I could cache the gun stats and only change it when the weapon configuration changes, but that just, all that does is introduce the possibility of error, and it doesn't have any noticeable performance benefit. So why not just create it on demand every time and be guaranteed that all of the data is fresh and accurate, you know? Then I don't have to worry about that. It's like one thing that can go wrong that I'm not introducing into my code base, right? And especially considering that it's a critical part of how the game works, is getting that gun stats to accurately reflect your gun configuration. I might as well go with the way that's guaranteed to be accurate every time you shoot. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's right, Jackie. I think that's right. Hey there, inspired by your video on components for Godot, I've been looking at applications for my own game. This has been enlightening, but my biggest hurdle so far are AI and state machines. First of all, welcome to the stream, Dawn Broken. The approach I'm currently looking at would be to make behavior trees using nodes, but I'm still not quite sure whether that'll cause me issues down the line. Do you have any recommendations for experiences you can share regarding AR behavior state machines? Yeah, so I actually did do a behavior tree node-based implementation for one of the projects that I did quite a while ago, and my experience with that was that it was very, very difficult to use. And the reason is because, like, the idea of composing AI behaviors inside of a tree out of nodes is a good one. But the problem is that you still need to have a way of like controlling how they target things and how they move, and like having different movement patterns and behaviors. And like, I found the behavior tree to be really inflexible with that kind of thing. It was really hard to build it in a generic way where I could achieve all kinds of different enemy behaviors, right? Like different enemy attacks and everything. I found that I needed to basically introduce custom behavior tree nodes for different attacks, or go overboard in creating like a behavior tree framework that can accomplish all these different use cases. So I can't say that I loved the behavior tree implementation. It's possible that I just did it wrong too. So, I mean, I would take it with a grain of salt, but what I'm doing for my AI states, and I'm not making a game with a whole lot of AI. I think I have like 20 AI entities in this game, or 22 or something like that. Oh, I guess it would be like 24. But anyway, and I just wrote the state machine specific to each of those entities. And there was some duplicate code, but I am fine with that because the way I'm implementing the state machines with composition is it allows me full control over how the entity behaves, even though I'm using different components for like health and velocity and stuff. So I have components that handle like the basic things like I said, health and velocity and hurt box and everything. But then for my AI script, I just write that specific for the entity every time. I don't share any AI code between any of the AI entities. And like I said, there's some duplication of code. There's a lot of code that looks kind of similar to each other, but I think that's fine because I really enjoy how much freedom and ease. Well, I enjoy the freedom that I have when I'm writing those AI state machines, but also the ease of writing the state machine. Every time I want to write a new entity, I don't have to worry about like, oh, is this going to fit into my existing framework? And am I going to have to change some code somewhere to like make this specific entity work? I don't have to worry about any of that because it's just like I'm writing it from scratch every time. So yeah. That's my opinion on that. I'm not a huge fan of behavior trees, but there may be, again, I may have used them wrong, and I also may be ignorant of a use case where behavior trees are like a very obvious solution. So yeah, that's just my thoughts. I think if I'm not mistaken, because when I was researching behavior trees a while ago, I think that the industry in general is moving away from behavior trees as well. It's kind of what I read. I don't know if that's true. You'd probably want to check that, but I don't know if behavior trees are super popular anymore for a variety of reasons. I'm about to die. Hello, Alfonso. Thanks a lot for the vids. I'm from Mexico and I'm starting to learn how to create video games, and I'm learning. What is the best way to start? I'm learning Unity and Sprite. The best way to start making games is, yeah, I think the typical advice of like, the typical advice is start small, start with a game that you enjoy, and like identify one specific mechanic and try to implement that. So yeah, I would just start there. Start really basic. You know, if you want to, I mean, you could start building a Mario clone if you like platformers. I probably wouldn't start with things as complex as like, you know, it sounds like you're using 2D because of Sprite. So I'd probably stay away from 3D initially and just work with 2D. You know, make like an Asteroids clone, you can make a Pong clone with some extra features. I don't know what how much of a beginner you are, so that may be too boring if you already have programming experience. So, but yeah, I would say start small and just get a game working on like a single screen with like one mechanic. And in terms of the art, I have an art video on my channel, how to get good at pixel art with no art skill. And so that video contains a couple of tips on the tips that I learned that most improved my art. So you can definitely check that out if you're interested. But yeah, the way to get started, honestly, it's going to sound flippant, but the way to get started is just to get started. Just get started and stick with it, and realize you have to have the presence of mind to realize that you're going to hit a lot of hurdles and roadblocks, and that's part of the learning process. So you're probably going to hit a roadblock within the first 10 minutes of opening the editor, and that's normal, and you shouldn't be discouraged by that, because you have to get over those roadblocks to learn. So just keep that in mind as well. It's going to be very difficult at first, but it's going to gradually get easier if you stick with it. You still use behavior trees for AI. How do you like that, Jackie? Are you enjoying that, or are there problems with behavior trees? Do I still have shock? Oh, I don't have shock. Oops, I just took a bad... Oh, we'll put that there. This overview is almost getting too long. I may have to make it even wider. Popcorn bullets. I don't want to get rid of my skeletons. Ooh, that's a big damage increase. Oh my gosh. Okay. Go! Oh my gosh, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. I need a health globe, I need a health globe, I need a health globe. Oof. There it is. Yes. Oof. Eh. I got lucky with that second health globe drop. This is feeling really good. I'm really happy with how these gun part changes are going so far. I'm almost dead. Dang, I took a lot of damage right there. Lifesteal. Do I have bleeding? I don't have any bleeding. Why do I want... I don't want lifesteal. Static. Ooh, yes. Give me that. That's a big upgrade. Rune slots. Oh, man. There goes my dream of having a complete... Ooh, here we go, though. Oh, shoot. Okay, hold on. Take that off. Take that off. Put that there. Okay. Bullet splits when colliding with enemy. Do I have bullet pierce on that too? Oh, I do. Oh, I do. Okay. There's an upgraded receiver. Is there no such thing as a dragon magazine? Where is it? This is BS. For me, the best way to start was buying his course on Udemy. Yeah. Well, Alfonso said he's learning Unity, so my course is not applicable, unfortunately, which means I'm not going to help you. I'm just kidding. I'm happy to help always. I don't work on the gameplay side of things, so I can't comment on it. I see, I see. The game feels looking really good. Thank you, Mastercar. Yeah, I'm very, very excited about the game. Also, yeah, these changes that I've just made this morning are feeling really good. I think, I don't want to speak too soon, but I think I've solved or gotten close to solving the problems that I had with the gun part randomization before. So now that everything can contribute to the overall stats, instead of certain parts having dominion over certain stats, now that everything can equally affect every stat, that makes the gun part choices a lot more interesting, because you could get a magazine that reduces your fire rate but also increases your damage, which was not possible before because magazines did not contribute to the damage prior to that. Oh, I need to the loot goblin. the loot goblin is still picking things up incorrectly. Oh, yeah, that's a hitbox related thing. Okay. I nerfed the loot goblin so it only picks up gold, but it doesn't run after health globes, but it can still pick up health globes because of the collision areas, the way they're configured. So I'm gonna need to figure that out. I might just add another collision mask. Easy fix. Static times 3. Let's go. Yes. Oh wait, is my damage gonna go down? Oh, that's not good. Okay. Gun stats preview can be wrong if starting to drag gun part into another gun part cell. Or button, I guess. Wow, it is cold here. Let's see, what's the temperature? It is 12 degrees Fahrenheit. Feels like -6. Extreme cold from 7 p.m. tonight till 10 a.m. tomorrow. Very nice. Okay, but I've got more rune slots, so my damage went down, but that's all right. Ooh. Ah, no, I can't do that. All right, so we got rune slots. Let's do poison. And then let's do magma, because I've got burning on that side. I guess I'm not gonna, well, oh man. I'm wasting all my money, no. Okay. All right. Let's see if I can win. Healed, picked up a health globe and immediately died. Do you prefer cold or warm for game dev? I like it when it's cold. I don't like being warm at all. I hate it. Let's see. I'll take surgeon times 2. Why not? That might help me actually quite a bit. 50% increased bullet range. Let's do that. Actually, you know what I might do? Let's do copycat on that. So I should have 100% increased bullet range. Yeah, so now my skeletons are going to be wandering quite a bit. Yes! And they already have a range of... So they've got a range of 600 now. So they're basically just going to be very long-lived. Oop. Oop. Eee! Oh, I need that rune. Thank you, your rune. My ammo capacity is not very high right now. I need the gold. Thank you, your health globe. Okay. Oh, me too, yeah. Generally, you have less control above your temperature when you're hot. There aren't many layers you can remove, but with cold, you can add more. Yeah, I think that's right. I think that's right. The only sucky thing about the cold dough is that, like, if your heating goes out, like, well, you know, or you get stuck outside for some reason, you got to be prepared. When you get stuck outside when it's 80 degrees out, it's like, well, you can just chill, you know? But if you get stuck outside when it's 0 degrees out, well, you are going to chill. Okay, increase health by 2. There we go, yes. Wait, is this even going to... Yes. Oh, my damage. But I get so many more rune slots. Let's just try a couple rerolls here. Yes, look at that. Boom, look at those rune slots. Yes. Bleed, unload, magma, shock grenade. Okay, I've taken 2 damage. Oh, 3 damage. Dang it. I was going to let my surgeon kick in, but I just took a bunch of damage. That's fine. I got my health globe back. Oh my gosh, I'm not doing so hot. I am not doing so hot here. Why have I not seen the shock grenade come out yet? Did I break the shock grenade? Nope, there it is. Okay. Bloated Blood Brothers. Ooh, do I have bleed? I do. Yes, give me Blood Brothers, please. Robust, beefy, bloated. Do I have poison? Let's just do beefy. Oh, I lose. Oh, I don't want to lose my rune slots. Fire rate increases. Do I already have that? Yeah, I do. Popcorn. Might as well take popcorn. Or I could do magma again. I don't really need this one. I'm going to put magma on there. So let's see. Look at that gun. Wow. Okay. Oh, I've got some rat gun going on over here, though. Okay, I'm not going to do that, though. We're on wave. We're almost done with the game here. Almost done with the run. Lived in Las Vegas for a bit, and one year the AC went out during a 100-plus week. The cold is much preferred over being baked alive. Yeah, that sounds terrible. That sounds absolutely terrible. I don't go out at all when it's hot. Yeah. I do not like it. It gets really humid here too in the summers. I'm sure that's the case for a lot of you. Oh my gosh. I'm tired of picking up health globes and then immediately dying. That feels so bad. It's my fault though. Oh my gosh. Okay, last wave here. We got a well. Surgeon ×3. I don't really need that. Let's take stamina, and then let's see what we got going on. That is a big increase. Boom. Not a big increase. It's 3 damage, but that's all right. Got the Thunderstorm passive. Very nice. All right, let's see what happens. Let's see. Thunderstorm. Current kills 4. Oh, I already had Thunderstorm. I was like, how is that already ticking up? Come on, Lowrider Spider. What you got? What you got? Ooh, ooh. Ooh. This boss is very difficult when I'm slow. Oh my gosh. I might die. I have no way of getting health. Ooh. Okay. I'm gonna have to play this careful. The Lowrider Spider. Oh gosh. No. Okay, I'm like locked in right now. Hold on. Oh, almost died. Wow. That was terrible. Okay. Oh. Did I do it? Yes. Yes, victory. I unlocked the bubble gun. What's up? Wow. Whew. Gold looted 173. Enemies killed, damage dealt. Dang, look at that. 157,000 damage in a single run. I have a passive that doesn't get unlocked until you deal 500,000 damage, and I was like, is that too much? But I might actually bump it up to 1,000,000, because 1,000,000 total damage, not 1,000,000 damage in a standard run, because then it's like if you do 9 runs or whatever, 8 runs, then you unlock it, you know? So damage taken, amount healed, look at that, 2828. Bullets fired, 7788. 7,000 bullets, wow. 1,400 enemies killed. Sweet. I got some gold. Ooh, I unlocked the graveyard. Check it out. Boom. The graveyard level is now available. And then we can just go right in. Look at how smooth that is. All right. Cool. And then I can go to my passives here and I can see all the passives that I've unlocked. I need to encounter tag your it. 5,000 total stacks of poison and 5,000 total stacks of bleed. By winning a run without spending gold. Okay. I have to encounter that during a run. What is dodgeball? I don't remember. Unlocked by encountering. So maybe I should add more unlock conditions here as well. What do we got going out here? So I can go over here and I can say, I've got 173 gold, boom. I can only afford 1 upgrade. But that's all right. I have this, the rocket gun is unlocked behind this, called research and development. So I was only able to unlock 1 passive, but I also spent, or 1 upgrade, but I also spent a ton of money during that run because I was trying to get weapon parts. So if I didn't spend anything, I'd come out with like several hundred gold and I'd be able to afford probably a couple of these after a single run. So GG, yeah. Thank you, thank you. All right, well, that's going to be it for the stream today. I'm going to go grab some lunch. I went a half hour later than I usually do, but that's because I was having so much fun. So let me just see. Yeah. Okay, so moved here. So I'm really liking this system. I'm going to spend this afternoon off stream just tweaking this system some more and doing a bunch of playtesting. But so far, I'm very, very happy with it. So yeah, thanks again, everyone, for watching. Thanks all for being here. And thank you to the lurkers as well. I know you're out there. And all the VOD watchers. I very much appreciate that. And again, you know, you've heard the ad before, but this is evergreen content. So anyone that stumbles across the video, I want to let them know that all the ways that you can support me are linked in the description below. So please consider picking up one of my Udemy courses. That's the main way that I'm making my money right now as a full-time indie dev. Gunforged hopefully will change that a little bit at least, but in the meantime, consider picking up one of those courses. Also, you can wishlist Gunforged and purchase that when it comes out. And like the video, subscribe to the channel, watch my other videos. That's also a great way to support me. And yeah, the upside down health globe, I'm going to fix that for sure, yeah. But thank you, everyone. Evergreen content, yeah, it's like a marketing term. So it's a great, these videos are evergreen. So anyway, thanks again, everyone. Very much appreciate it. And I will see you in the stream tomorrow at 10 a.m., assuming I haven't been frozen into an icicle. No, I'll be fine. So I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye, everyone.